household until 6:30. And then they said everything will get home.
Do you want to get started, Isaac? We'll just have your husband sneak in, okay? We'll have your husband sneak in after.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't too sure. Good. More? Yeah. Ready? Okay, so we're gonna get started. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and see our nice little presentation today. My name's Eileen. I'm a part of the education department upstairs. So we're just going to be having a small presentation regards recognizing and reporting signs of elder abuse. We'll have some questions or comments after the presentation if we just want to start a conversation up after. So elder abuse statistics, so is an intentional or neglect act by any person that causes harm or serious risk of harm to an older adult. 1 in 6 people 60 years and older experienced some form of abuse in community settings during the past year. About 90% of elder abuse cases occur in the victim's residential home. And then nearly 5% of all seniors suffer psychological abuse in any given year. And then rates of elder abuse have increased during the COVID-19 pandemic, and elderly Americans lose nearly $36.5 billion every year because of financial abuse. So there's different forms of abuse.
Can you move the letter bigger?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
Can see.
After. So verbal threats or hate speech can have severe negative impacts on older adults, leading to increased anxiety, depression, social isolation, and physical health problems, and potential premature mortality. Examples of verbal abuse would be insults, name-calling or profanities, yelling and screaming, mocking and criticizing, threats of harming the resident or his or her family, undermining or trivializing concerns or interests, and belittling, excluding inactivities, or even ignoring. Physical abuse involves inflicting physical pain or injury on an older adult, often by someone in a position of trust. So about 10% of adults aged 60 years and older have experienced some form of physical abuse within the past year, according to the National Council on Aging. More on physical abuse: unexplained signs of injury like bruises, welts, scars, broken bones or sprains, over or under receiving medication, broken eyeglasses, sign of being restrained like rope marks on wrists, caregivers refusing to allow you to see the person alone or someone alone, drug overdose or apparent failure to take medication regularly, and then physical or chemical restraints for caregivers' convenience. And then we have emotional abuse. Emotional abuse includes verbal attacks, threats, isolation, or other actions that cause psychological harm to our elders. And then we also have emotional abuse is the most commonly reported type of elder abuse, accounting for over 35% of reported cases, according to the National Center on Elder Abuse. And then we also have threatening, belittling, or controlling caregiver behavior that you witness. And then someone isolates an elder, or refusing to allow access to visitors, mail, or phone, or just things of social. And then uncharacteristic behavior such as withdrawal or changes in alertness. So these are all just signs of emotional abuse. Then we have sexual abuse. Sexual abuse involves in any consensual sexual contact with an elderly person, including unwanted touching or coerced nudity. So while underreported studies did estimate that 2 to 5% of elder abuse cases do unfortunately involve sexual abuse, according to the National Institute on Aging. Then we also have bruises around breast or genitals, unexplained sexually transmitted diseases or unexplained vaginal or anal bleeding, torn, stained, or bloody underclothing. And then we have neglect by caregivers or self-neglect. So neglect occurs when a caregiver fails to meet the basic needs of an elder, or when elders cannot or do not care for themselves as well. So neglect accounts for more than half of all elder abuse cases reported to Adult Protective Services, according to the U.S. Department of Justice.
So do you know what is considered like to meet basic needs? Like, can you give me a possible example?
Probably like just being able to use the restroom on your own, have basic cleaning, so washing your hands, teeth brushing, face, anything that would be basic needs. Neglect by caregivers or self-neglect, so unusual weight loss, malnutrition, dehydration, untreated physical problems such as bed sores, unsanitary living conditions could be dirt, bugs, bed bugs, roaches, soiled bedding, poor hygiene, lack of clean or appropriate clothing, unsafe living conditions such as no heating or running water, and then faulty electrical wiring or fire hazards, and then desertion of the elder at a public place would also be neglect. And then we also have financial exploitation. So financial exploitation involves the illegal or improper use of elders' money, assets, or property. Older Americans lose more than about $3 billion each year to financial scams and exploitation. And then we also have significant or unauthorized withdrawals from the elder's accounts, sudden changes in the elder's financial condition, items or cash missing within your household, suspicious changes in wills, power of attorney, titles, and policies. And then we also have addition of names to elder's signature card at the bank, unpaid bills or lack of medical care, even though you have the money to pay for them. Then we also have financial activity. The elder cannot, so financial activity would be if there is a bedridden person and then they have an ATM withdrawal, that would be a form of financial activity. And then we have unnecessary services, goods, or subscriptions, and then unusual change in spending habits. And then we also have scams. So scams target our older adults through deception, often involving fake investments, romance schemes, or fraudulent tech support. So in 2022 alone, Americans over 60 reported losses of about $1.3 billion to fraud, with romance and tech scams among the top types, and that's according to the Federal Trade Commission. We also have constant phone calls from various phone numbers, elder, adult suddenly wiring money, large accumulation of lottery mail, elder, adult secretive about a relationship with someone that they have not met in person, could also be a form of like a scam. So then finally we have how to report abuse or neglect. So for abuse or neglect, you can always dial 911 to report elder abuse or neglect to the police as soon as possible. If the abuse is immediate and life-threatening. Then we also have the elder abuse hotline, so you're more than welcome to call that number there, 877-477-3646, to report allegations of abuse when you are unsure or where to call. And then we have Adult Protective Services within the County of LA. So you would call 888-202-4248 if you suspect elder abuse within the community. And then if it's outside the County of Los Angeles, it would be 213-351-5401. And then we also have long-term care of ombudsman at Wise and Health Aging call. You can call 800-334-9473 if you suspect abuse occurring at a skilled nursing, assisted living, or board of care facility. And we also have the statewide ombudsman after-hours crisis line, which is 800-231-4024. We also have our National Elder Fraud Hotline, so assistance with reporting at federal, state, and local levels, and referrals to fraud resources. That number would be 833-721-8311. And then you are always more than welcome to speak to one of your SBSS staff members, SBSS case management, and then we would all be more than welcome to help you, guide you through that, or appoint you to the correct person to help you, figure that situation out. So then we have our do's and our don'ts. So for do's, please stay active with your local senior center. It can be a valuable source of information and a great way to socialize with your other seniors. A plan for your care as you age. Identify reliable people who can provide assistance if needed. Review your finances regularly, please do that. Be extremely cautious when selecting a trustworthy individual to help manage your affairs, especially when needed. Participate in community activities. I know you all just came from dance. Volunteering is also a great way to have contact with others and then making new friends and just creating those connections and bonds. And then use the resources in this guide to get support. So some of our don'ts would be, please do not put off preparing your future physical and financial needs, especially at last minute. Don't accept personal care from anyone in exchange for property or assets without having a lawyer or trusted advocate to witness the transaction. Don't allow others to keep details of your finances from you. You always want to make sure you have all the information, especially when there's any transactions or finances involved. Don't give out any of your personal or financial information to people you don't know, especially to people over the phone. That's how they can scam you. And then don't sign legal documents that you do not understand. Please always make sure you either understand those legal documents or take another day to try and understand those documents, or have someone trusted so that they can help you understand those. And that's all we have for, yeah. Is there anyone that has a question or maybe an experience for scams? Richard?
Is, if you're not like us, you look at the number and you don't recognize it. I don't answer the phone anymore. We know they don't leave messages. Would you say that's probably the best thing to do?
Where's the numbers? I want to see the. Going with who to
So
call.
usually if you don't work, I always say that if it's important to leave a voicemail.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if it's important to leave a voicemail, but just being wary of not to answer any unknown numbers.
Yeah, and I just want to emphasize that I know this isn't the most fun topic to speak on, but this is important. Even if it's not happening to you, this could be happening to a lot of people. I don't know if you remember from earlier in the presentation, this is happening, according to statistics, to 1 in 6 older adults in the United States. So we want to make sure that even if it's not happening to you personally, that you're aware of it, and that if you know somebody, that you're able to tell them that there are resources out there. And so that's why we've provided these numbers and these hotlines. If you're interested, you can come up and take a quick photo so that you have these for you. We'll also be providing resources for you guys to be able to access these hotlines. And yes, I know scams were mentioned. That's why we're so happy to be able to provide technology courses here at SBSS. By being more literate digitally, you're able to better understand the internet and keep an eye out for those scams. I know you just said that that you don't answer those calls anymore, which is great. You want to avoid those, and you're more aware of what's at risk. So I really want to thank all of you for joining in this. And if anyone has any questions or thoughts or just kind of anything that they want to just say, please go ahead. This is an open forum now. Yes. Feel free to come up. Feel free to come up and take a quick photo. All these photos will guide you to the proper resources that you need in case of any of these things happen. Yeah. All right. Any other questions or thoughts?
There is no way that we can have all this information in the written, like
Yes.
So just in case I am not on that list.
Yes, we'll be able. We can print these out. Can I get just like a raise of hands of who would want this printed out? 1, 2, 3. All right, we got three printouts. 4? Was that your hand? 5? All right, 5, 6. All right, I'll make sure to get some printed out and make available. We'll actually print out a few extra, and I'll put them out on the front so that everyone can access those. But I know this is kind of a tough conversation to have, but it's just a reality that we need to speak on every once in a while, just to bring aware the resources that are out there. All right, but I really thank you all for participating. And if we have any more questions, any hands raised? No, so we're good. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, yes, in the back.
Another good way is when the phone rings and you don't recognize the number. Pick your phone up and hang it up.
Yeah. Oh,
Any others? Has anyone ever like fallen into a scam where they feel maybe they almost could have been scammed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody has it.
Everybody, they always get you. Sometimes it sounds.
Yeah.
So just being wary of all, calls, making sure you're not sharing personal information with people you don't know. Just being really cautious of all that.
yeah.
Watch some of them that you know.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's why it's so important to have centers like this. We build community. We all watch out for each other. We all know how we're doing.
Not
I
here. We have a couple employees here that are not nice to seniors.
Oh, that's a talk for that's a one-on-one conversation. All right. Well, other than that, thank you guys for participating. I really appreciate you guys showing up for this, and that's it. So yeah. So, all right. Thank you guys. Yeah. Oh yes, and the prizes. Yes.
We have first aid kits for everybody.
All right. Cool.